are there any features specifically relevant to live streaming that would become paid?
No, we don't have any plans for it.
Everything that's free right now is going to continue to be free, and you have no intentions of taking anything away and making it paid.
We're never going to take away things that are free. We're going to clearly communicate whenever we have something that's paid. It'll be clear from a distance. What we've been kind of working on all along is the ability to, we're not competing with OBS. We're basically going to be competing with every piece of video software in this space, from DaVinci Resolve to Final Cut Pro to CapCut.
Would that be a subscription-based thing? Do you have any plans on that?
Most likely.
He was clearly paid, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to just like clarify that? Stop being cringe and paying full price for Windows with our sponsor, VIP SD Keys. You can get a Windows 11 license for as low as $21. Just use my code NUTTY at checkout to get them for 30% off. And if you want to get them for a little bit cheaper, you can get a Windows 10 key for $15, and those can be updated to Windows 11 completely for free. You can pay using a secure payment method like PayPal. They'll send you an activation code immediately, and then you can put that in your Windows settings, and you're good to go. Check out VIP SD Keys in the link down below. What do you want? I'm just kidding. I made a video about Meld. I think I put out a video like last week about Meld. And I'm sure most of you guys in chat know what Meld is. It's essentially, it's an alternative to OBS. And I had a lot of mixed responses from that video. Mostly because like a lot of people are trying to, I think, I'll get to why I'm phrasing it this way in a little bit. Let's just say a certain creator made a video on Meld, and my video was a little bit of like a response to that video. And the responses in the comments were a little bit mixed. Like a lot of people were a bit skeptical of Meld after I made my video, and then there were some people saying that I didn't do enough research on Meld, saying that like I had said things that were incorrect. And so I think you had seen that video, and then you reached out to me saying, hey, if I want to interview you, then we can set that up. And then that's where we are right now. So where I want to start is basically, what did you think of that video when you first saw it, by the way? Like, what was going through your head? Did you think, and you don't feel like you have to be in PR mode or say nice things or whatever. Like, if you think the video was shit, or like you thought that I was completely incorrect about some things, you can just say it. So like, yeah, what were your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I don't often think that way. I mean, look, anytime someone is creating a video about something you created, it's a little flattering, right?
Yeah.
That's how I see it. I saw it as I thought it was a little bit like a diss track, which I think is kind of fun in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, look, you bring up good points. I mean, the ones that always hit the burn the most are the ones where it's like we're either close to having it or it's just not quite there yet or something like that. I think there were a few of those, but like that's not on you, right?
Yeah.
That just gives us some pressure internally, right? Where it's like, oh, I really wish we had that by now.
Yeah. So the reason why I agreed to even doing this interview was because I sort of got that feeling after I made the video. Like, I think I got a little bit of tunnel vision when I was making the video because I was getting so many questions about Meld, and a lot of people being like, oh yeah, I'm going to try like move my OBS setup to Meld, blah, blah, blah. And I felt as though a lot of people were moving over because they watched another video, and there were just a lot of stuff that they may not have been aware of. And that's kind of what I wanted to highlight in my video. But I think what I probably missed on was like, okay, there are employees that are working on this, and like, I'm sure that, because I make my own tools and stuff as well that people can download, and I'm sure like having a bunch of people being like, oh yeah, this is shit, this will never be OBS, like you'll never be like as good as blah, 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 it probably like feels bad. So I think it's kind of a good thing that we're talking now, so we can kind of clear it up, because I don't want it to be like a big, I think a lot of people want it to be like a big exposed thing which is not what I wanted the video to be like, but that's kind of like what a lot of the responses seem to be pointing towards.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you start something new, and I mean new in the sense of, I'll kind of lay out too, by the way, like this will be the first time. Can you guys hear me okay? I see my video is a little like breaking up a little bit.
I can hear you.
The
Your audio still sounds the same. It's just like, yeah, the videos, but it's fine.
Okay. Anytime you start something new, and by what I mean by new, people might say, "Oh, you guys are trying to be OBS." I mean, we're really not, right? I'll kind of reveal for the first time. I've kind of tweeted some hints about it, but like if this goes well, I'll give you an exclusive reveal of like what the big vision is, like what we're all about, and where we want to go. Anytime you do something that's new, like this, like the vision that I'll lay out, like you're going to face a lot of skepticism.
Yeah.
From everyone in your life, right? Like,
yeah.
And the odds are always like 99% of startups fail. So the default state is that you put in a ton of work for a lot of years and it fails. That's the default outcome, right? So I'm good with the skepticism. I mean, if it were 100% skeptical, we may want to reconsider things, but I think it's good. I mean, I always tell people like I see recently like some people have a tendency to think that maybe they shouldn't talk about us in a certain way publicly. Like I see this on Twitter sometimes, like, "Oh, DM me your experience," and I'm like, "Just share it. Just share it." It lets us know what the pulse is.
Yeah.
And anytime people start filtering that, we get like a filtered view of that, and that hurts us. Not helps. That doesn't help us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I touched on this a bit earlier. Like, I also mentioned another video that was made about Meld. The reason I'm being about, like, it's obvious what I'm talking about, but the reason why I think going forward in my videos, I think I'm just gonna not mention other people's names, because what ended up happening was a bunch of people were writing negative stuff about other creators in my videos, and then it sort of comes across as if like I sent those people to say all those negative things. Like, it's not meant to be that way. So like, you guys just fuck it, just chill, okay? it's not meant to be like a drama thing. I'm not trying to, just like, I've met you at TwitchCon and I've met a bunch of other employees from Meld, and like literally every single interaction I've had with you guys has been positive. So this isn't like a Streamlab situation where I'm trying to like expose them or anything like that. That being said,
I think you have a hard job, right? Which is like, you create content that happens to be controversial, and chat flames it up to be this really, really big thing that like has impacts beyond like on, other things. And then like, is it on you to corral that, right? How do you do that? At that point, how do you do it?
Yeah.
You were just making a video about something that you're passionate about,
Yeah.
So, and then YouTube comments are just going to do YouTube comment things.
Having said that, though, I still want to hold your feet to the fire a little bit today, because there are a lot of, I think, legitimate questions, and like you're saying, there's like legitimate skepticism that people have around Meld, and I think the main one, we're gonna jump right into it. The main one that most people were worried about is that right now Meld is free, but it's pretty obvious that you guys, like, you have investors in your company that are, you have employees that you need to pay, right? And so like, it seems pretty obvious from everyone that like, okay, at some point you're gonna have to have some kind of revenue stream, because right now there is no revenue. You guys don't have any revenue streams. The whole program is free. And that worries a lot of people, because there are other tools that people have used in the past that were also free, and then they get totally invested in using this software, and then all of a sudden like a bomb drops on them. They're like, okay, now I have to start paying for these features that used to be free. And so like, people don't want to fall into that trap again. So so I guess the question I have is, number one is, do you intend for Meld to be free as it is right now? And what ways do you intend to make revenue up in the future?
Yeah, so I'll answer all those. I do think let's start though with a little bit of history, and I promise I will get to it. So you bring up a good question though, which is like why go the fundraising route? Because it
Ay
does put you on this
naku,
path, right?
that's enough anak. You
Um,
calm down now
I
or
mean, I
I'll
worked on
take those
Meld
video
for
games
about
away
a
from
year with a
you.
full-time job. So that was how I subsidized the development in the beginning, kind of became confident to like, this is something that I could create and that like, there's something here and that there's like real room to innovate
Hmm.
and, and do something different here. And then it's like, okay, in order to create a product where one already exists, your new product needs to be anywhere basically 100 times better to even get people's attention.
Yeah.
How do you create something that's 100 times better with one person? You can't do it. And I didn't really have much of a following outside of my stream, so I don't really think there was a feasible path for me to do like a donations route. And yeah, I think in a lot of ways, if you want to build a full-time team, and my belief at the end of the day is that like it takes a team of fully dedicated people across a diverse skills, like range of skill sets, right? We have designers, we have a designer. Sorry, I should say a designer, Carol. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Several engineers, and we're spread all around the world. And that's what it takes to make a great product. That's my belief. Okay, so in order to get that off the ground, you need some kind of funding to hire people and convince them to come work for you.
Yep.
And that's where I started looking at venture funding. I mean, in the beginning, I just raised like a small friends and family round. And then I saw, honestly, a fair amount of appetite for it. I was even surprised, right? Because I don't know what everyone on the outside thinks of me, but it wasn't like that long ago. I was just like a software engineer working at a company live streaming, right?
Yeah.
So I went out, I started telling the story. Like what I thought the big vision here was. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I think I had like a screenshot of your YouTube video on one of my pitch decks where I was talking about like people want to do big things, but right now they're limited, right? This was like the pitch, and got a good response to it. We raised what you showed on screen the other day, and that's where we're at. Everyone that invested in the company is on board with like us having a free version of the product that's a very compelling product, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think everyone in the company that is a part of the company or invested in the company understands that
Pause for a second. There's a rage. I gotta turn this off. Hold on.
Okay.
Just just wait for the thing to go. Thanks for the raid. I should pause my raids though. Chat, how do I pause my raids?
That's hilarious.
Chat.
Oh man, this video is killing me. You should just have my face in there too. It's like...
Pause it. Thank you for the raid. Oh yeah, you can continue now. Sorry.
Okay, I'll switch back to your stream. Stream key leak. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's kind of does that all make sense so far? I mean,
yeah. So I understand. Okay. But I would imagine. Okay, you can continue if you had. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, there are a number of ways to like eventually monetize something. That's always a tough bridge for companies to cross, right?
Yeah.
So I think people are worried. I think anyone that's seen our vision, that has like seen the pitch deck, like understands that there's a much bigger opportunity that we're after, that is a much more valuable opportunity than like turning a switch and trying to charge everyone that's using Meld today, right?
Yeah.
But not everyone has that information, right? So part of what I'll do here today is like share some of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so what people are concerned about is what I would call like the bait and switch method, right? Which would be, this is what happens generally when companies can no longer innovate. They go, okay, we can no longer innovate. We need to make money quickly. And we have a captive user base. People are using our product every day. So let's just put a paywall up. And some percentage of them will leave. a large percentage of them will get very mad, but some percentage of them will just pay, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an approach that I don't think would work.
Like
I don't
Adobe.
even think it's worth trying.
Yeah.
I think that we're in such a fragile state like today where it's like I've been at this for like 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And we're like just now getting this footing. Like I think a lot of people like have this like impression that we're like this overnight success that like we came out of nowhere or whatever these days, but like it's not the case. It's been a really long road. And I've got another 10 or 15 years in the tank and
Yeah.
to like see the whole thing through. And you know, like rushing to charge and take away. I'll also say like we're never going to take away things that are free. We're going to clearly communicate whenever we have something that's paid. It'll be clear from a distance. And we're not doing these things with bad intentions, right? We're not going to like box you out of anything or like prevent you from, doing anything or any of these tactics that like companies do that people hate, right? That's a
Yeah.
great way to lose trust. And we're just now like starting to like gain this trusted following, and it's a fragile thing, right? You can lose the trust overnight. Look at what has happened to some of the others in this space.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of that. So that's kind of how we think through it.
So you said you weren't. So your intention is you're not going to take away stuff that's currently free. So what features would you add in the future that you would monetize? And like, do you have like a timeline for when that might eventually happen? Because like eventually, like if you have investors, like you're gonna need to have revenue at some point. So
Yeah,
like, is there like a
100%.
timeline or?
So people say, I mean, yeah, so we can get into the big idea either now or later, but I would say, yeah, people are like, oh wow, I mean, the number of people in the beginning that told me like, why would you bother competing with OBS, right?
Mhm.
We're not competing with OBS. We're basically going to be competing with every piece of video software in the space, from Blackmagic to from DaVinci Resolve to Final Cut Pro to CapCut to all these things. We see a really, really big opportunity to combine capture and edit workflows into one tool. And we think it's going to allow you to do some really powerful things. And that's really the big idea. So the idea is much bigger than just like, okay, we're this like live streaming tool. Will always be a tool you can use to live stream. And the hardest part of what we wanted to build is the live capture, right? Because when you're capturing things live, you have no margin for error. When you're capturing things live, when a game is using 100% of your CPU and GPU, you also have even less margin for error.
Yeah.
So if we nail that, then we can do this other part much more easily. That's the general idea.
Okay.
I'll lay it out in more detail. I'll lay out like what the big picture is, but I wanted to make sure we can get through like um any other questions you have.
Yeah. That's funny that you mentioned CapCut because like I think a lot of people are, I think, fairly comparing Meld as like a one-to-one with OBS, just because like the feature sets are like similar enough that like it's super easy to make that comparison. But I think a good comparison that you brought up was CapCut. Like, why would people use something like CapCut when other editors exist that can do like way more? Well, the reason is because it's like there's the convenience factor that other tools don't have. Like, it's just easier to get stuff out quicker, even if there are other tools that can do more. So I think, yeah, I don't think it's necessary. This is a point I probably should have made clear in my video that like there are a lot of stuff that I feel like Meld doesn't do, but it's not necessarily like no one should ever use it because it doesn't have these features. It's just like a different tool for like different people. So I guess like what would like if you're not competing directly with OBS, then like who are the people that you expect to be using Meld? Like what is your vision for that?
I mean, like at the end of the day, it's basically any content creator that creates video we think is going to be really interested in what we're building. If you're a live content creator today, like we think Meld will be and already is a really compelling option, but we think it's about to become a lot more compelling. And And then we think it's also going to become a really good tool if you're recording content offline.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it makes sense to kind of lay out the vision so this all makes sense and so we have a more concrete view of it. But
Yeah, because
before that,
I feel like, sorry to cut you off. I feel like there are things that you have planned. I'm not sure how much like you want to say live. So
I'm
like,
super open. I'm sharing
yeah,
I
yeah.
share everything.
But like, just because you like, I'm not trying to like, I'm not trying to push you too hard or anything, but just from the perspective of someone who's trying to like, they're just getting started streaming and they're deciding, okay, I heard in the internet OBS and Meld. Like, what's going to be the reason to choose Meld at the moment, or at least like over the next year or so? Like, yeah, what's going to be the reason that someone says I should probably use Meld? Like, that's the right thing for me.
I mean, it's kind of a personal thing, right? Like I tell everyone, I think people see this as like a really binary thing. And I think
Mm-hmm.
this is what causes a lot of the controversy is that it's like one or the other. I have like people are always like, I can't switch yet. I mean, at the end of the day, like no one's asking you to switch. Like try it out, see if it fits your needs. If you the goal and the thing that we hear that like makes us the happiest is when people say, Meld made me feel more creative. That's like such a soft thing to like convey in any marketing, right? It's like, how do you
Okay.
ever convey that? You have to experience it. Like when you experience the snapping corners, right? How easy it is to just like round the corners, apply effects, do these
Yeah.
different things. Everything just like kind of works out of the box. Managing your audio, like there's a lot under the hood with the audio that I think a lot of people don't pick up. Like being able to just, I had for the longest time this thing. I used this for my stream for many years.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah. Yeah.
make sure this is. Hold on, I'm struggling with window management here. Okay. I used this for many years. I used a microphone input here, and yeah, that was it. So it's a stereo interface, but only one mono. Anytime
Yep.
I plugged it into OBS, at least on Mac, it presented as stereo, but I only needed mono.
Mm-hmm.
And on Mac, you had to buy this piece of software called Loopback to like manage this routing
Yeah.
and remap it. So one of the first things that we built is the ability to just like one-click toggle mono and then select the channel. You can remap. We support up to 32 input channels per device. That's a nice mixer. So things like that, I would say we've paid a lot of attention to just the experience as a whole. And some of the stuff we're about to come out with, actually, I would love to show you. I don't have the ability to screen share right now.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna give us the details. I want to know. I want to know some shit that's coming.
yeah, maybe I can screen share. Actually, Ollie or anyone on the team, if you're listening, can you guys send a little video, anything that you have that's like ready to go of the new encoder view? And just can they paste links in chat, or I can just DM it to you and you can pull it up and maybe
You
like
can
see
post the
it.
links in chat if you want. I'll just open
Okay.
it up.
Yeah, so we'll give them a couple minutes to do that. It's really cool. So it shows you like a graph view of like all the input video sources and audio sources, and then it shows you a pathway to the encoder with data traveling, and then you can see the encoder that it's going to, and you can see all the outputs that it's going to. So if you're recording, clipping,
So to be clear, this is like
streaming,
this would be like for multi-streaming, right?
yeah,
As in,
multi-streaming or
yeah.
anything. It just gives you the ability to like, it gives you really nice insight into everything that's like happening under the hood.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like not everyone's gonna love the product, right? That
Mhm.
is what it's not possible to build something that pleases, that like achieves the features that everyone wants
Yeah.
and pleases everyone. It will never be exceptional for anyone if you do that, right? Like
Mhm.
you have to take some opinionated paths and keep things on the rails to some extent in order to like make a great product experience. That's my belief.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while we're waiting for that, I mean, I think it's also important to point out that it's my belief at the end of the day, and why I'm doing this and why I'm willing to spend so much time on this. I think it's really important that we exist. I mean, name one other full-time team in this space that's completely focused on creating software for live streamers. I can't think of one.
Yeah. Apart
Like
from
Elgato, they do hardware, but they also make software.
yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's really about choice, right? Like we're the I mean, I kind of see it as like XSplit. I guess they're still making releases. Femix, I mean, I guess they release once a year. We released 42 times last year, right? I don't
Yeah.
think anyone's moving at the pace that we're moving. And our goal is to like innovate on the experience for creators. And even if you don't like Meld, anyone's welcome to like take ideas that we create and use them in their own software, right? The ideas are free.
Yeah.
So if we ever come up with a really good idea that someone likes, they're welcome to take that and build that into OBS. That benefits everyone. Us
Okay.
existing. This is my like true belief at the end of the day is that like it's better for us to exist
It's better
than
just
not.
it's just the competition, right? I think the thing that captured my attention in the first place was like the open source community. I appreciate everything they do, like um everything that the OBS community has done, like and just put out for free is insane. But like, man, they're really stubborn about anything to do with like the UI. Like they're very stubborn about making any changes to that. Um and so I appreciated like a new tool that was out there that actually focused on the user experience because that's really big for me. Um so yeah, I get that.
Yeah, you also bring up a good point in the in your video though, which is that like we're not partnered with hardware manufacturers. But I actually think when we start to forge some of these partnerships, it's a really great differentiator for us. Is like today, right now, they have to like go to the OBS project, like convince them. OBS tries to be like a very neutral player, which I respect. It's a very important thing. As a result, they have to like put engineers on it, like get this feature landed and get it landed in time for their marketing launch, right? If they come to us, like we'll do a handshake agreement, we'll do an NDA, like they're coming out with a new product, and we'll put some engineers on it. It'll be done in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So when we start to create some of these partnerships with different hardware manufacturers, I think things are going to get really, really interesting for us. Yeah, I haven't seen the video link come through yet. I don't
Oh
know if
yeah.
anyone's
I have a look.
working on it. But...
All right, I'm gonna start asking you because a lot of my I'm reading the messages in chat right now, and a lot of people are like, CEO speak, PR speak, blah 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 blah. So I'm gonna start trying to hold your feet to the fire a little
That's
bit.
amazing.
I think my audience would appreciate. They want to know like things that are coming, features that are coming that are gonna set Meld
Wait.
apart from OBS.
Okay, let's do that. But I have the video now. Let me see if I
Yeah,
can
we'll look at your video first.
Window, boom.
Where are you putting it, in Discord or?
Oh, I shared it in the Video Ninja. I can send you the video as well. Is that easier? And you can pull it up?
Yeah, just set it on Discord.
Close window.
Oh, it's just a video. Okay, got it. All right, let's have a look. So this is the encoder output. So this would be like, okay, I'm assuming if you're going to be like multi-streaming and then also doing, so it looks like you have like a clip. So you're doing clips and then also recordings. So
But this would be
is
like
this
any
something
number of
that's,
things.
is this something available to anyone at the moment or?
Yeah, this is going to release in the next version.
Okay, when about would that be? roughly
We never give exact
timeline?
dates. Right now, we're still doing the pod. I think it's out in our alpha group. It's already out for alpha testing. If you want to grab an alpha build, we can send it to you. It's standalone.
Okay. Yeah. So this is
But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, this is cool. This is dope. One thing, not that I'm not like, here's a question that I have that's like frustrated me with every video editor and also recording software is something I think would be really cool. There's probably a technical reason why nobody does this, but like it's possible to do like multi-track video in like a single like an MKV file, right? So you and I can have
Yeah,
multiple audio tracks and in a video, and then you can drag that into your editor, and it has multiple video tracks. Oh, audio tracks. Is there a
Okay,
reason
well,
why nobody does that for video?
you just pitched the vision. Okay, this is great. This is a great lead in then. Let's take a quick detour, and I'll just cover the vision real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically where we're going. So the big idea is that what we've been kind of working on all along is the ability to record everything as isolated and record all the events that happen on stream. Meaning, anytime you adjusted the audio fader, anytime you clicked transition, anytime you toggled something on or off, any of these events. Let's say you have a bot feeding in that's like, let's say streamer bot is like feeding in and triggering things on screen. Like, we'll record all these events with timestamps. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of your recording or your stream, you'll see it all on a timeline, and everything will be isolated recordings, even things that are off screen, right? So if you transition from scene A to scene B, and your game was in the other scene, and you weren't quite happy with the timing, and you want to do a slightly different edit, then you'll be able to just bring it back. Even things that are off screen will be recorded.
Okay.
So that's a big idea, and that's where we're gonna like. Also, we get some really interesting abilities to do like things with captions, automated captions, because we have each audio track is isolated. We can make a really good guess about which one is a voice track, right? It's much harder to do captions in post because your game audio and everything's squashed down, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you wanted to do captions and assign each speaker, you and I, like, and put captions in this place versus this place, you really need isolated audio to do that.
Yeah.
So we're going to basically build out the ability to like do all these things.
Okay.
And we think it's going to be a really interesting new way to create content, because you'll basically be able to click start record, do a live edit of like how you want your content to look, just like, one take, boom, 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 showing a bunch of different cameras all at once, and then polish it up in post and release it.
Yeah.
Platform.
Okay.
That's the big idea.
Yeah, no, that's I had a conversation with some of the guys at OBS at TwitchCon last year, because I think this is like the next big breakthrough in recording software will be multi-track video, because especially for gaming videos, it's going to be huge. Like the ability to stream your content in like whatever layout that you want, but then also in the background having your camera and then your gameplay recorded separately, so that you can go in after and then edit it together. Like I think that's the next big thing that people are looking for. I've been looking for it for years. Like I would definitely use it all the time.
That's what we're creating.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to invest?
I didn't get paid off, guys. Oh yeah, I should bring that up, okay? Because that's a comment that, okay, other creator person, but who I won't name because it always turns out bad when I mention other people's names. A lot of people are saying, I know the answer to this already. They were saying like he was clearly paid, blah blah blah. Do you want to just like clarify that?
Oh, you want me to clarify that?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't paid. Of course he wasn't paid. It's the same thing as with you.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to know how it happened?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Basically, I mean, I didn't know him. I've never met him in person in my life. someone introduced us, and what we heard back, well, actually, someone told him about us, and what we heard back is he said, "Why would anyone create an alternative to OBS?"
Was it
And
Nick? Was his
then,
name Nick?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if he minds, but I mean, I don't mind sharing it. I don't know if he minds. I didn't ask
No,
him.
no, no. I know. Yeah.
Um, uh, Yeah, and his first reaction is like, "Why would anyone work on this?" And then I was like, "Well, see if he wants to take a call with us." And within the first 5 minutes, like, I don't know, I think everything changed. After that, he was like, "I want to make a video on about you guys." And then later on, he told me what he was thinking for the title, and I was like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was all organic. Like, we had one call with him in the beginning where I just told him the pitch, basically almost what I just told you guys. And then he's like, "It's really cool. I want to make a video on it." And then we fleshed out some ideas for the widgets. There were things that he thought would be like helpful for his audience to like get started and try it out. So we worked with some people in this space and implemented the widgets within a couple weeks.
Okay.
And that was that. Simple as that.
Yeah. The title of the video was, I guess, that was probably one of the main things that I wanted to respond to was I think the again, I can only comment on things that Meld does at the moment because like at the end of the day, everything that you're saying now is like cool and like having a roadmap and everything is like it sounds great, but I think to an audience like a new person that's looking to get into streaming, like they don't care about any of that stuff. They only care about stuff that Mel does right now. And so the reason why I wanted to even make the video was I think giving the prescriptive advice to people who are trying to decide what to use that they should switch over from OBS to Meld, I think that was the one thing that I had a little bit of like I felt like I needed to respond to because there's just like at the moment there's things that are missing that a lot of people want
Well,
that aren't there
you look
yet.
at it through the lens that is like you're a power user, right? At the end of the day, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we focus on things that. So basically, I mean, I'm sure there's a question that'll come up at some point, but like, how do we choose what to work on, right? Like, why are the things in the product today that are there today and other things aren't? We
Mm-hmm.
literally take all the requests, all the things we've had requested, sum up the total impacted users, and we roughly pick from that list, right? And that's how
Mm-hmm.
things have kind of rolled out. I'll be honest, I mean, we haven't had maybe a handful of requests for H.265. I mean, only recently did the platforms roll out enhanced RTMP. That's going out in our next update. Like the view you just saw, that update's also going to include enhanced RTMP.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we focus on things that we've sort of heard from the community and the user base, and we're moving as fast as we can.
Yeah, I had a lot of people asking about hardware encoding because you have a hardware encoding option. Does that work with like QuickSync and AMD cards as well?
No, we haven't. I bought an AMD card actually. I've been to plug it. I haven't had a chance to yet. I haven't even opened the box. It's amazing. Yeah, whenever I get time, I'm going to add AMD support, or one of us will.
Okay.
It doesn't. We haven't added support for Intel QuickSync right now. Hardware encoder uses NVENC if you have support, or on Mac it uses the hardware encoders built in the Mac, which they sort of obscure like what is what. But
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, and then I would say also to the point where like we don't allow you to control every parameter of the encoder. So we face this challenge, right? You can kind of see it like in this encoder view. But if we want to run a bunch of encoder instances, at some point, you're going to run out of hardware encoder resources. You're going to run out of hardware encoder resources first. If you crank up the quality on NVENC, you can do surprisingly few. I think it falls over on our testing if you do max quality at like 2 1080p instances.
Okay.
that hits capacity.
On what card?
Um, I think a 3090, although I need to check.
Okay.
Um, so the newer cards are going to be better, but at some point, like if we want to record everything as isolated, um, then at some point we're going to run out of encoder cores, and then we have to basically fail over to other encoders, either software or maybe you have another card, or we may fail over to Intel QuickSync. So basically, what we've exposed today will allow us to do that and still honor the options that you've chosen. And under the hood, we optimize all of the parameters to fit the capabilities of that card. So that's why we haven't done stuff yet like expose all those settings, because we want to make sure that we're like reserving the ability to basically allocate these resources when we've exhausted NVENC,
Okay.
for example.
So do you think you'd add any of that tweaking in later? Or
We may add it. We may add it. I mean, what would you want to tweak, for instance? Like I'll give it like X264 has like 300 parameters.
yeah.
Like 10 of them matter.
Yeah.
The H264 specification is 300 pages long.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us had read it. Not every word, but
yeah, I don't think it's
sorry,
necessarily bad to leave those options out as well. But just curious, like, what your plans were for that. Yeah. I'm getting a lot of questions in chat. Okay. I'm going to respond because I don't want you guys to think I'm ignoring your questions. Everyone keeps on asking about the monetization thing. So you answered this before, but just like to be super clear, because everyone keeps on asking me, telling you to answer this right now, because they keep thinking I'm avoiding the question. Yeah, so just like to be like super clear on monetization, like your plans on monetization, what you said before was everything that's free right now is going to continue to be free, and you have no intentions of turning or taking anything away and making it paid. That's so you say that before, right?
We're never going to take things away that are free. We're never going to rug pull. We're never going to take things away that are free, and it will be clear from a long distance like what we're going to charge for. I've told people that we're going to charge for this editing thing.
Yeah.
Whenever you record, like, you'll still be able to use your single flattened output, right? So by the way, I've been comparing like the Vision to like an SVG, right? Or a PSD, right? Mm-hmm. It'll be the PSD for video. That's the big idea. Someone sends you a logo today and they send you a JPEG. You say, send me the PSD so I can edit it. You want to get all the layers and you want to be able to move things around and you want really the vectorized representation of what that is.
Yep.
Doesn't exist for video. Everything today, when you record video, you get the equivalent of a JPEG. It's flattened down. Yep. Everything that's layered is flattened down. That's what every piece of software gives you.
Apart from audio,
that will always be free. Like we're not going to charge you for that. But we think when you see what you can do in our editor, and when you experience this, you'll pay for it. And if you don't want to pay for it, that's fine.
So your plan for monetization, to be clear, is whenever you roll out this video editing portion of Meld, which is going to be it's going to be like one program, right? Basically. So there'd be like a separate section for editing videos inside of Meld, and
once you're done
in post, and that's the part that you plan to monetize. I'm assuming, would that be a subscription based thing? Do you have any plans on that?
Most likely.
Yeah, most likely. Okay. All right. So let me say it, because I'm gonna repeat what he said, because for some fucking reason, whenever I say things, you guys listen to me. When other CEO people say it, you're like, it's CEO speak, okay? So I'm going to repeat what he said so you fucking people listen to me, okay? So basically, my understanding, based on what he said, was if you want to use Meld as like a replacement for OBS and you just want to like stream record, that portion of it will continue to be free into the future. And the way that they're planning to monetize will be through their planned video editing features, where you can like edit stuff in layers and stuff, right? That's basically, is that roughly, I get that right?
You make a great CEO, Nutty.
And
Haha,
so,
sex.
okay, don't fucking chat. Anyway, so are there any features specifically relevant to live streaming that would become paid? So I saw recently that you added in like widgets and stuff. Would those be things that you would ever consider to be something you'd monetize, or would that stuff also continue to be free?
No, we don't have any plans for it. Honestly, we never really had plans to do the widgets, and I mean, we thought it'd be an interesting way to try it out. We don't have any big
Yeah,
plans around the
I
widgets.
thought it was cool.
They're open source, by the way.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
They're all MIT.
I didn't know you could do this. I mentioned in the video, like one of the widgets I released was my music widget. And something I've been meaning to do for a while is build like an edit, like a thing to edit all the settings for my widget, because it's just like it's a static browser source basically. So it'd be really easy to make like a settings page for that. And that's something I've been working on. Someone just did it in Meld. Like I don't know how they did it. They just like took my widget and they built like a settings thing inside Meld, which I thought was really cool.
I don't know how they did it either. We haven't even had a chance to document it. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
it's pretty straightforward. Like if you open the HTML link that you paste in for our widgets, like you'll see at the top it's like MIT license, and there's like a JSON blob that represents the properties. And
Okay.
then basically everything live syncs between the two. So you just like declare the properties and the types and the ranges of the controls and the tooltips and everything. And then like those get exposed and like synced between the interface.
Okay. I guess
It's
that
all pretty nice.
yeah, I think that that leads me to another question I had. What do you plan? Like, how do you plan if other third-party people want to come in, build plugins, or build like little widgets like that for Meld? Like, what is your plan for that? Is that something that you're gonna support? Because like I know there's a section for plugins. I don't know if you actually have anyone creating plugins for it yet. Like, how easy is it gonna
Yeah,
be for people?
we'd like to open all that up. I mean, it's something I'm sure will come up, like the open source thing. I'd be happy to dive into that at any point. Um, I mean, yeah, basically, like I don't think we're not. I mean, my philosophy is I'm not very protective of the code. Like you can see in your Discord, is like pasted a whole file. I mean,
Yeah. Hmm.
at the end of the day, my view on open source, and I can elaborate on it more, but it's like if we're not set up to like take contributions and work meaningfully with an external community, it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to invest and maintain it. I worked at a company. The company that I worked at prior to this was an open source. It was open source.
Okay.
It was supported Linux, and it's really, really difficult to specifically for C++, where you have to have a very complex build system with like a bunch of cloud runners. And then now, like for instance, our cloud runners, instead of paying AWS a bunch of cash, they just like sit under our desks. You can't
Hmm.
do that whenever you can't really do that whenever it's open source. You have to like have your runners kind of walled off because there's some security issues there. Anyways, okay. So what was your question? Plugins. Yeah, we would love to open it up. We just need to document it. The reason the plugins tab exists is because we always envisioned it. We designed it to be super simple. All of our layers are written as plugins today. So like the rectangle is like 100 lines of code or something. I mean, they're all pretty straightforward.
Okay.
So we'd love to do it. Yeah, absolutely. What would you like to see us like? Do you see any ways there we can like really do something different and like
Um.
make something? Anything you've been limited by?
Um. Well, what I was interested in was because the first video I made on Meld like a year ago didn't have widgets, and then when I made the second one, I was like, oh, this little section, there was only like two there, but I just think that idea is cool because something that I think a lot of like all those companies that make overlays, like I've been sponsored by a few of them before, but like I think something that a lot of them miss is like nowadays people don't like they don't give a shit about pre-made overlays. Like stream layouts are getting simpler and simpler. Like they're getting rid of like all these like extravagant graphics and everything. And I think what people want more nowadays is just like they just want individual little things to add to their stream. Like little that's why I've been focused on trying to build my own widgets this year. Cause like that's what people want. They don't want like these huge pre-made things. So I think the idea of like having like a suite of widgets that, are just like really simple that have like actual utility that's not just like oh, here's another differently designed sub alert thing. um Yeah, I thought that was a
Yeah.
cool idea. So having
We also
other
work
people
with
have the
Alex.
ability to make widgets like that is, yeah, that was appealing for me.
Yeah, so we basically worked with Alex at Caster Labs, and
Yeah.
he set us up to use their backend. So one of the things we've been talking with him about is like, can we kind of come together to create this, like, basically, because so he built this really powerful thing that takes all the events from all the different platforms and gives you like one API within which you can subscribe to all these events. So that's how we were able to like do this in 2 weeks. It was thanks to Caster Labs.
Hmm.
So if like we could work together and Caster Labs creates like a public API where like anyone can just go and use this API, and it gives you, you know, you have like an API service where your widget can subscribe to these things. It's well documented, right? And then Meld, if we could create like, you know, we can open up this standard so that anyone can implement it, including OBS, right? Here's how you declare your properties. Here's how they sync between the widget and the overlay. We've kind of created this internally, but we're definitely interested in like opening it up, um, and documenting it. We're like basically three engineers at this point.
All right,
So
let me translate what he said for you guys, so because I think half my chat didn't understand that. So essentially, um, what Meld is able to do, and it looks like it's able to do right now, is it essentially has like a kind of streamer bot thing built into it that would be able to subscribe to events like whenever you guys sub, whenever an ad runs on Twitch. So all those like little widgets that I've been making that require having StreamerBot in the background, the idea would be that whole backend is like built into Meld already, so that you could just add the browser source. You don't have to have like the StreamerBot running in the background. It's like just it's built into Meld. So that's what he's explaining. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, we don't have any we don't have any intentions of like closing these things off. I mean, at the end of the day, like an open and vibrant like development community is better for everyone, right? It's better for us. We get more plugins. It's better for people that are participants in that community. The only reason why we haven't done it is we just haven't had the resources to like go through, document it. And to document it well, like you need to put out like examples, and you know, developers, they don't like to document things. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of questions about like specific features. I'm not going to go through every individual feature that you guys are asking in chat. So I'll just ask a broad question. Do you have like a public roadmap, or even just like rough idea of features and when you expect them to, or like what the priority is in those features and when you expect them to come?
no.
There you go. Stop asking me.
No, the answer is no, because like, I mean, we've every company that I've talked to has had a bad experience with doing a public roadmap. I mean, look at game, like I think the best example is like open or like early access games. Like it's so hard. Like if you can come up with a formula to estimate how long it will take to develop a given feature, you should do it, because you'll be a multi-millionaire. Every company from Google to Apple to everyone will buy this technology because it will be absolute magic. It's so hard to nail down like a timeline for something as complex as like development, because you know, right, like at the end you get to some bug, it's like some unforeseen bug at the very end of the process, and it's like the last thing, and you're like, all right, we need to delay it. I'll say
Yeah,
the
the
other thing
timeline
that
is
happens too is
however
like,
long you say it's going to be times like 10.
yeah, the other thing too is sometimes like, you know, we take, because basically everyone on the team is streamers. Like if we're watching someone stream, it's the most stressful experience in the world if we know that we're using Meld, right? Because if anything's going wrong, we're like, uh-oh, we got some work to do.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing that can happen, right? Like as two examples, I think I see Billy Goat in chat. Like she came to us and she was like, I'm doing a subathon and I'm getting like some lag. Come to
Mm-hmm.
find out, we opened this up, she's got 400 browser sources. Never seen anything like it. We never tested anything like it.
Yeah.
And you know, stuff like that comes up. We had someone that was facing some network issues for a really important stream. I mean, we basically drop everything we're doing and we look into this, because a lot of these times these issues are things that are affecting other people too. And at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, if our software is not reliable, if we crash, if our performance is bad, like that's worse than anything. So we'll drop what we're doing in terms of feature development to fix those things, and that makes it hard to estimate, right?
Okay.
So in order to set the expectation, we say, no, we're not going to. Basically, we don't share a public roadmap. And we let you know like 2 weeks before it's about to land, because that's when we know for sure it's slotted in.
Okay.
So I could say
Yeah.
multi-canvas is coming out really soon.
Okay. People wanted to know about so you were talking about like things like lag and performance. People want to know about performance because that's a question I've been asked a lot is what is easier to run, Meld or OBS? And my experience just like totally, I have not done any, it's hard to do testing on this sort of thing, but my experience has been like with OBS has been easier to run on my PC. Some people have had it the other way around, like Meld runs easier on their PC. So I think the advice of just like trying both and figuring out just like you just figure out
Something I
on
wanted to
your
ask
own.
you, in your video when you did the recording, do you have clipping turned on in Meld?
I'm gonna check. I don't think I did, but is it turned on by default?
It depends on the version. So we did turn it on by default. And so basically the issue is that Windows groups together GPU usage and includes NVENC usage.
Okay.
So when clipping's turned on, we're always running an encoder, and
Mm-hmm.
it will show like an additional like 5 or 10% depending on that.
Okay.
I did the same test as you. I see that they're basically identical. So performance is a top goal for us. Like unlike I think some others in the space that have come before us, like we do a lot of work on the performance side. If you saw the tools that we have to like get insight into every little thing in the flow of data through Meld, it would blow your mind. I mean, I can share my screen, but we can see every packet of information and the time it took to produce it, and the core it was running on, and the thread it was on, and like we can see these things to a very extreme amount of detail. It gives us the ability to really diagnose issues.
Yeah. So like, how do you even measure that sort of thing? Like,
It's hard. It's why we don't quote any performance numbers. I mean, we've been really hesitant to say, I mean, we basically haven't made any statements about whether we think we're faster or not, right? I mean, I think at the end of the day, what I'd like to do is hire someone like Digital Foundry or something like that. Those are the guys that do the console benchmarks and stuff, right?
yeah.
Like, and it needs like an independent team, to do like an analysis. Otherwise, people won't trust it. And it's a hard thing to do. I mean, getting benchmarks for desktop software is really hard because you have things like power management. The GPUs in different power states, different programs are open. Like, there's a ton of trade-offs.
Yeah.
And we do different things too. Like we cache a lot of things in memory. So you may see that we use more memory, but we're doing this to save us work in other places. If your system comes under memory pressure, we release it all immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like there are things like this where it's like ascertaining whether performance is better or not is a really complicated thing. It's similar to like estimating software, estimating software timelines in complexity. But yeah,
Okay.
at the end of the day, it's like, does it run, like, try it out. Does it run better for you? I mean, I would, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
I couldn't see. Does Mel have anything that like a performance monitor for people to like? That's one of the things that once your setup starts to get complicated, trying to figure out like which sources are using the most resources on your computer so that you can remove them from your setup is really useful for people. Like, is there anything that Meld has that can help people determine like anything like that?
Yeah.
Or even things like just drop frames. Like, how do they figure that out?
One thing that we rolled out, and we're rolling out like more insight into this. You could go to view and then do open capture device stats.
Let me check.
That was like one of the first things that we added. Basically, what we learned with this experiment is that it allows people to kind of like diagnose issues on their own if we give them clear insight into the system. And that was a learning that we had that we took in. That was one of the reasons why this new encoder view exists. Is like we're going to use that encoder view to give you insight into how long it's taking for each packet to get produced.
Mm-hmm.
And that will allow people to like diagnose, because it's really easy to load your computer down, especially if you start falling back to software encoders. If you have
Yeah.
max quality on anything and we have to fall back to a software encoder, it's going to use like 100% of your CPU.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to, did the capture thing come up?
Oh, open capture device stats. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
So, captured. So this is just for capture devices though, but like,
Let me see if I share my screen, can you guys see it?
how do I do it? Oh yeah, they can see it.
They can't see it.
No, they can. I can see it. Bro, Video Ninja's the GOAT. But yeah. Yes, don't worry, chat. I will let you guys ask your questions in a sec. I see
right.
perfetto.
Yeah, perfect. So this is a tool that we use to like view the output, but this is just an example for like, sometimes if users have an issue, we ask them for a trace. And this gives us like the full flow of, let me see if I can find one where we could see how long every little thing took. So this is our render thread, and we can see that in this case, it took 260 microseconds. That's good. That's not where the problem is. In this case, like something in the end of the frame took 1 millisecond, and we could see this for everything. Here's how long it took. Here is the average frame rate, average frame speed, and we could follow the life of a video frame through all the steps that it goes to. If you can see this line, and we could see like how long each step took. And this happens for everything, including the audio. We could see each individual audio frame, how long it took to produce that, any frame delays. So we invested in creating a lot of things like this that give us like insight. And so anytime someone's having an issue, we're basically like, okay, take a trace, send it to us. We pop it open in this. And we've been able to diagnose someone had a faulty CPU. They found out through this. It was doing a bunch of wonky things we had never seen before. And they took it in and basically found out it was a faulty CPU.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we may expose stuff like this. I mean, it's obviously a little complicated. But yeah, we've basically instrumented like everything in the pipeline. And this is our sort of like our diagnostic tool today.
So you can pull that up from like someone's log files?
If they send us a trace, so it's a specific file, it's like a binary file format.
Okay.
So we basically have you start Meld with a flag, and then it exposes a button that's like start trace.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. So that ends up being super useful, because if somebody reports an issue that like my audio is delayed or my video frame's delayed, we can instantly see if it's backing up on the network side, if it's backing up on the encoding side, if it's backing up on the rendering side. Yeah. Someone says, I like the CEO is an engineer and not just a typical MBA corporate CEO. It's amazing to me that people think I'm like some, you know.
Yeah, chat like that answer.
We look at this a lot. We stare at these things a lot. It's pretty fun though, because you control it with WASD. So I was moving around. I was pressing W to like zoom in, and yeah, it's pretty fun.
The gamer keys. Yeah.
Gamer keys.
All right. Let me see if I had anything to ask first, and then I can open up to questions from you guys. Again, I see a million questions asking about monetization. That seems to be like the big question. We already asked them about that. I think.
How do you think we can make that clear, by the way? Like, where should we say that?
I think it's just. I think for a while, it's just going to be something you're going to have to constantly deal with. I think there's just a growing, not to get into politics, but like economy's fucked, and like everyone is very like conscious about where they spend money nowadays. And so when they see a company that doesn't really have like a face behind it, when they see them release something for free, they're like, okay, something must be too good to be true. And like, they expect the rug pull to happen eventually. So like, it's something that I don't know. Like, I don't really have any advice on how to deal with it, other than you're just gonna have to keep answering it, or um, like have like a page on your website that makes all this stuff clear. But like I think yeah, it's just a skepticism that everybody has because they don't want to have to pay for. A lot of people are out saying like subscription fees. I think you did say the plan is a subscription fee. I think people were asking if there's going to be an option for like lifetime payments. Do you have an answer on that?
I mean, we may do it. I mean, I think I hate subscriptions just as much as anyone else,
Yeah,
but it makes sense when you start to get like right now, people may find it hard to believe, but like our only real cost at Meld is basically um, salary, right? We don't have
yeah,
an office.
mm-hmm,
We don't pay for ads. We
mm-hmm,
do a lot of things like with creators and stuff. We basically like throw events. We do an event at TwitchCon, like that's where some of our expense goes. But I mean, once you download and install Meld on your computer, like the cost to us is zero, basically.
mm-hmm.
Um, but for the editing feature, if we start building in things that are doing like captions, if we start doing one of our other ideas is we basically want to do um, like some analysis to determine when scene changes are happening and
Yeah,
like the content in each scene, so we can give you like a really good kind of first pass edit, just like a rough cut, right? Like
yeah,
I'm not a big I don't think AI tools like AI is never going to be able to create you a great video cut, but it's important that you're able to edit it right
yeah,
after that. So if
mm-hmm.
we can give you some good suggestions, so whenever you start running things like that, especially you have to offload it to a server if it's going to like burn the user CPU up, then now we have recurring costs, and that's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
it's
yeah.
subscription because we're passing on that cost. So
Okay,
so probably not a lifetime, probably not.
okay,
But again, like uh, we think that it'll be fairly priced. And now that you guys have heard the vision, like it could possibly allow you to cancel a subscription to something like CapCut, right?
yeah.
And it's a compelling new thing that will save you a lot of time. That's typically what people exchange goods and services for money for. So that's the goal. To me, that's a good business, right?
I don't know. A lot of people are used to having shit for free, and then they get so like. I get it though, but as someone that also I make much simpler tools than you guys make, but like man, a number of people are just like, this shit should be free. I'm like, it fucking literally is free already. Yeah. Okay. Let me just check if I have any other questions. Then we'll go a free for all for everyone in chat, and then we'll wrap it up.
How do you think it's going so far?
No, I think well, I was gonna ask you that. I think you've done a good job of being transparent. Like you were saying, like one of the hard things, one of the things I think must be hard for you is like you have ideas and you have things that are coming, but you can't really show that to people yet. So it's hard to sell the idea to people. But like I understand better now where you are going with Meld, because I think from an outside perspective, just looking at the program itself, it just feels like a prettier version of OBS that has like less features. But yeah, I am actually pretty excited about the editing stuff, because that's been something that's been on my mind for like a good while now. Just so you have an idea of like how I record some of my YouTube videos. I have some YouTube videos where I am like doing the whole recording my face and then my screen at the same time. And so I have like this setup where I have uh, a canvas in OBS. I have like a 4K canvas, um, like dual layouts. So like I have 4K on top of 4K, and then it's a single video file that I split in half when I edit the video. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it works, but it's like super annoying having to edit a video like that. Like I just wish multi-track video existed. Same thing for like if I'm recording an unboxing with like different camera angles. I have like an 8K canvas in OBS that has four 4K videos on one single video file, and then I just record the video that way so I can split up and pick camera
That's
angles when
smart.
I. Yeah, that's the way I do it now. But like it all just feels like it feels like just a hack for something that I feel like should just be a feature that already exists. But part of it will
Why don't
be
you work
like,
with us on it?
what was that?
Why don't you work with us on it?
Yeah, I don't know. I just have the idea. I
We'll
don't know.
bring you into the process.
But here's the
I
thing
mean, we'll
though.
bring you
Like,
into the design process, and you could tell us like what you think is a good idea, what you think won't work, and like help us. We're always looking for thought partners, like on this stuff. We talk to us, you know.
yeah, okay. We can talk
Okay.
about that. We can talk about it off
Don't do
stream as long as
NDAs.
people don't like. People are gonna think I'm paid
We can
off
do it
now.
on
I'm
stream.
just saying that.
We can do it on stream. We can go through the
Yeah,
design on stream.
but the other thing is like, it's interesting that you're working on a video editor thing too, because what I was gonna say was like, even if you build the ability to have multiple video tracks in a single video file, like as far as I know, there's like not any video editors that support importing those video files. Like you can literally make your own multi-track video file right now. Like you can just mux together your own multi-track video file, but then you try to pull that video into an editor, and even though it has the tracks there, like none of the video editors actually support multiple video tracks, which is really annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we have to build an editor too. There's a lot of things here where I'm like, man, I wish this existed, but
Your video cut out, but yeah. All right. I will open up the questions to chat so you guys can ask whatever controversial things the spicier the better, okay? So ask whatever you want. Just if it's a question that I've already answered throughout the stream already, I might skip over it, but yeah, just write whatever you want to ask. How much resources Meld Studio is eating compared to OBS? So we kind of touched on that before. It's something that's hard to measure. I might do a little bit of research on my end to see, but like it's hard to compare.
I have a little script if you want. It basically just like pulls the Windows like APIs for CPU usage and GPU usage for a specific process over a given span of time. You give it the process name, and then it pulls CPU, GPU memory, and then it pulls them every 5 seconds over 1 minute or 5 minutes, whatever you choose, and then it averages it, gives you the output.
Okay. You can send that to me on Discord. I might mess around with that. Timelines for adding chat box from Twitch, YouTube. So I think what people want is they want like the ability to dock Twitch chat into Meld. Is that something that you're looking into?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a pretty highly requested feature. People really want the ability to, they really want Meld to be a web browser.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do embedded panels, but the problem is what people really want when they ask for that, they want that and they want something else. This is the challenge with a lot of things, is like people ask for one thing, but then you add it and it's actually they wanted 3 other things too.
Okay.
They want the ability to do web-based docs, and they also want them to be able to customize the docs. And then as soon as you can do that, they want to be able to move other things around. So, you know, we're working on that. We have some concerns about, like, if we allow people to rearrange things, then it becomes difficult for us to provide support. It's much easier to do support when it's like, go to the top left and click this. That's how you add a layer, right?
Yeah.
If somebody's got that thing toggled off and it's off screen, and now you have to determine where things are laid out, that makes it much harder. And so in our stage, we're still early, right? Like, and focus on providing a good experience. That's something we haven't totally decided how we're going to handle yet, but we're definitely going to come up with something that works. That's a good solution in the meantime before you can totally change the whole layout of the interface.
That was something that was hard for me to understand until I started making tools for people, because everybody wants everything to be super customizable and they can make it however they want. And then what happens is you give it to them, and then one thing will happen is they will see so many settings that they won't understand what to do. They get overwhelmed and not want to use the thing anymore. The other thing is everybody has like a different setup that you have to deal with, and then when you're trying to help them out, they're like, okay, well, like it could be any like of these 20 other settings that you've changed specific to your settings. So I get that.
The other challenge
I
too is the more of these things you expose, you have to support them basically indefinitely. And so whenever
yeah,
you're rolling out new things that interact with these, you have to make sure that you're like migrating all the settings. So everything you expose has an ongoing cost.
yeah.
That's
I
I think
I
something a
guess
lot.
I guess the pain point that I think a lot of people have is especially this has been super clear to me for the past 6 months. The big thing in streaming right now is multi-streaming. And so a lot of the tools, so it looks like you're almost ready to roll out like multi-canvas stuff for Meld. Um, like that's the big thing. Is yeah, support for Twitch and YouTube and like enhanced broadcasting, which I'll ask you that in a second as well. But the other side of that as well is like, how do people manage having multiple streams? Like, how do you change multiple stream titles at the same time? How do you like right now everyone has to have like 30 different dashboards open and it's like super fucking annoying. Um, so I
That's
guess
something we'd
like do
love to
you
work with an external person on because, I mean, there's a lot of we've seen a number of good solutions for this from the
yeah,
community. So if anyone wants to work with us to like embed like a multi stream
like a multi
manager, it's
dashboard
something
sort of thing, yeah.
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 It's kind of thing like the web based stuff, like building the web based stuff like that's not entirely within our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, we could certainly do it, but it's not our focus area. So we'd be open to partnering with someone on that.
Okay. Someone was asking, so on the topic of enhanced broadcasting, is there anything going on with that?
Yeah, we're rolling it out as part of the multi-canvas
Okay.
eRTMP. I think version 2.
Okay.
There's 2 versions. The new one is, I don't think it's totally standardized yet, but we'll have support for it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that'll basically give us the ability to do. It opens up multiple codecs for those that are on the programming side. The original RTMP protocol, like basically had a hard coded field for like codec type, and it only supported H.264.
Yeah.
So the key thing in the new eRTMP, enhanced RTMP stuff is it gives you the ability to do multiple codecs, and you can also send multiple streams at different resolutions.
Yeah.
So
So
how's Twitch's
that
is Twitch's endpoint for this like open to everyone now, or is it still in beta?
um I think it's open to everyone. I'm pretty certain, but does everyone have access to enhanced broadcasting? Has everyone tried it? The thing is, like, I do want to. I haven't actually. I've had access to it since like almost the first, as soon as it was available. But I haven't actually had a chance to like fully test it because my internet is shit. um, but I'm waiting to build a new PC, and they're really expensive to build PCs.
You didn't get that PC we sent you? And it had like a 5090. It was the only one to get our hands on.
Which one?
Another question, actually, I don't know if you know, but I'm curious. Like, so if you send AV1 to Twitch, are they retranscoding it for the stream? Like, if a viewer doesn't have AV1 hardware decode support, they're on a mobile device or something, right?
So, yeah.
How does
So,
that work?
my understanding is the whole point of the enhanced broadcasting is that you do all of the transcoding on your own PC. So you send it all of the different resolutions. So you'll say eventually it'll be like AV1 4K. Um, and whatever you send to Twitch is exactly what gets delivered to the viewers. So my assumption would be if they're viewing on a mobile device that doesn't support AV1 decoding, it just like wouldn't show them that option. Because if they're going to do the retranscoding on their own servers, then that like completely defeats the point of even having the enhanced broadcasting in the first place. Like
Yeah,
the whole
it's a
point is
genius
for you
move
to
to offload the transcoding cost to the user.
so they don't have to pay for it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's it sounds like fishier than it is. It's actually quite smart because it saves them a lot of money on transcoding, but also like it reduces latency as well because it's like it just goes directly to the viewer. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. But yeah, yeah, my assumption would just be like if your device doesn't support particular coding, it just like you just won't see it the option there, I guess. Yeah.
Says too bad. So sad. Get a better device.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually skeptical a lot when it came when I first heard the announcement, but it sounds like they're doing a lot of because it's pretty like it's really complicated to think about. They're doing a lot of the thinking for you. Like it's pretty automated. Like in OBS, you basically just turn on the enhanced broadcast setting, and it figures out all the settings that are appropriate for your PC for you. So yeah.
Quick correction, enhanced broadcasting won't be out in this next release, but in a future one. I guess we trimmed it. I think it was close, but this release is already late a little bit. That's why we don't give timelines. So it must have gotten trimmed, but it'll be in the next one. We typically
Okay.
try to release every 2 weeks. We're a little bit behind on this one, but so yeah, if it goes out and then 2 weeks after it we should have enhanced RTMP. This is why we can't give roadmap estimates. See, I already got it wrong
Yeah.
within the span of 3 minutes. It's already been corrected. But it'll be soon. Gotta let it bake a little bit more.
Did we touch on multicasting? Yeah, it's yeah, we did. Was there a discussion for using OBS plugins hard limiting bit rates to not go above certain bandwidths? Isn't that
All
what
of our
setting your
bitrate
bit rate is? That's what setting your bit rate is. It's a constant bit
Yeah.
rate.
Yeah, it's a limit. Yeah. Yeah, we have that, I would say. Anyone who just asked what my favorite ice cream flavor was? Probably pistachio. What about you, Nutty?
I'm pretty boring. I go with cookies and cream or anything mango flavored.
Okay.
Like
Not bad.
any like if I get like boba, it's mango. Mango's like the goat fruit.
Okay.
Please tell Meld to add noise suppression to the mic.
We have it. It's in Magic Mike. I mean, Magic Mike's caused a lot of confusion. We were trying to be clever with the name.
Yeah.
And yeah, we probably need to redo it. It has noise suppression and automatic gain control. I think it does a pretty good job. I mean, we're gonna add like a neural network based noise suppression that will be better. Oh, another thing you pointed out is background removal. So the reason we don't have that is I wanted to roll out one that would work at the same time for people that don't have an NVIDIA card.
Okay.
And I've got this this model that I basically quantized, and it can run at like 60 FPS on even a CPU, and it's really good quality.
Okay.
So we haven't totally gotten to the point where we think it's good enough because it's going to use some GPU resources. It'll be about the same as what NVIDIA's uses, but it will work on all GPUs. And if you don't have a suitable GPU, it will even run on your CPU.
Okay.
So we try to do things like that where we roll out for everyone all at once. So, yeah, it gets hair. It does a really good job with hair. Like you could lift it up like this, and it will get the background out of it.
I'd be curious to test it out. One of the things that's super annoying about my setup is I have a perforated chair, and like it always has a tough time cutting out the chair, and it always looks really bad. Also, because my chair's black and then my hair's black. So yeah.
Yeah. Someone asks, is it on one or the other, not 50% CPU, 50% GPU? I mean, it's really hard to run a model split across two devices. Anytime you have to cross the PCI bots, well, maybe we don't want to get into this too much. Should we just take questions, or do you want to moderate? Maybe I'll just keep my mouth shut and answer your question.
No, I'm just seeing what people are asking. Guys, you guys are asking like such softball questions. Can you like ask something like controversial? Somebody
When are
we
you
can put on
rewriting it in
social
Rust?
media and it gets lots of views and stuff. Plans
Do we
for
have
2
plans?
PC setup. Does Meld have plans to also make this easier? That's another question I had for people. Is like a lot of people had questions about like if they wanted to use their phone, for example, like pull up. Like I have plugins that I've recommended to people that they can bust out their phone and connect that to their stream. Is that something that you'd ever care about adding for Meld?
Yeah. I mean, it's something where, I mean, Epic Cam works well, right? There's some things like this where it's like, there's already a good solution in the space. We don't want to stir up too much
It did
trouble for
until I
that.
think they just canceled it, didn't they? That's the
Oh, did
Elgato
they?
app. Yeah, I think they
Yeah, I
shut
think
that
so.
down.
Oh. Yeah, maybe fair game then. Oh, by the way, one fun idea we've been kind of noodling on. So your phone has pretty good and fast like hardware encoders, either an iPhone or an Android. And wouldn't it be interesting if you could plug your phone in to add more hardware encoder cores, like offload it?
Fascinating.
Cool idea. USB-C is fast enough. Send the raw frame or a slightly compressed version of the frame, and then you get back the encoded version, and then you send it out. I think it'd be interesting.
I wonder how well that would work.
Using the phone to do the encoding. That would be it. You could even, I mean, your phone would work just the same. Like you could still use your phone. It wouldn't take it over. Just like run in the background.
Meld will, okay. I get this question a lot. Will Meld always be free or have paid features? We answered that many times throughout the stream. Don't worry. It's been answered a lot. Why do you feel the need to partner with people who will never use your product? If a big name streamer shouts out Meld but don't use it, then that's not a good look.
I don't think we've done any of that.
Yeah, I don't think that's
I mean, I can
here.
reveal the number of people we've paid to use Meld or do a review on it in 2025 is 0.
What about before 2025?
I think 2. We paid for 2 things as like a test.
Okay. And just to be clear, neither of those people were me or other person.
Yeah, they're all disclosed too. Yeah, they weren't anyone.
Yeah,
you guys may know them, but
unless this was for editing part of Meld, is there any way to do ISO recordings on Meld that you can use in Meld post-production part? What's ISO recording?
They mean isolated recordings.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, the challenge is like, how do we record all of your layers and all of your scenes when you only have a finite amount of hardware encoders? That's the secret sauce we're figuring out.
Are you pretending like, okay, the reason why, okay, yes, it's fairly obvious who I'm talking about. The reason why I am making it a rule for myself to never mention anyone's name in a YouTube video again, because even though I feel like I didn't say anything that bad, half the comment section was like saying some very negative things about said creator, and then it makes it seem as though I'm sending you guys to do that. So I'm just gonna never mention anyone's name again. That's why.
Someone says, my buddy works for Stream Elements and is kind of frustrated that I'm so interested in Meld. Is Meld planning on teaming up with anyone like Stream Elements? Look, our policy on this is like, we're an open door. I mean, if anyone has any issues or questions, I mean, they should just come to us directly. If they want to integrate with us, we're open to integrate with anyone. I mean, like a lot of the bots have integrated with us at this point, and they all came to us, and we give them the resources, and we open source our Stream Deck plugin so that people could use that to base it off of. And I mean, we'll open source other things too if it's helpful for people to integrate. So yeah, I mean, if your buddy works at Streamlabs, tell him we're certainly open to chat. I've never had a conversation with anyone at that company, so I don't know anything, you know. But always
Okay, so
certainly open to it.
again, I'm seeing a lot of questions about like specific features. I don't want to get into like specific features and being like, when is this coming? Because like it's just it's gonna get annoying for you. So how about like, how do you deal with feature requests? Is there like a place where people can request them, or do you just go off the vibes? Like,
oh, finite singularity has a good question that I want to get to. So we'll plant a flag there. We ask people to record it in our Discord, but
okay.
really at the end of the day, something we really tried hard to avoid is like having a form that anyone has to fill out. So
Yeah.
we just take note of anything we see anywhere. So we're having a conversation with someone on X or Blue Sky or something like that, we'll ask them right there in the moment, what's your idea? And we'll take note of it.
Yeah, okay.
And we basically take note of these things and we basically rank the number of affected users. Finite singularity asks, can I answer finite singularity?
Yeah, go for it.
What about visual effects plugins? Any plans to add third-party devs to create filters filters and plugins for Meld? Yeah, absolutely. That's something we've always wanted to open up. I mean, it's not until recently, I would say, that we've really had enough users for us to think it would make sense to even open this up to the external community. So like all this coming at us recently is like both good and bad, because everyone's like, oh, okay, why don't you guys have plugins yet, right? And it's like, okay, you always have a chicken and egg problem with something like this, right? Like the plugin developers only want to spend their time on something if there's enough of a user base.
Yeah.
So we didn't spend a lot of time on opening this stuff up before, but yeah, native plugins are going to be tricky for us because of a few reasons. I know finite singularity is quite technical, so I'll be a bit technical here, but we ship a custom libc++ that's like hardened, similar to like Rust. It has like bounds checking and things like this. It's not ABI compatible with other versions of the libc++ SDK. So things like this make it a little tricky for us to open up an SDK. And it's something we can certainly do, but yeah, basically right now we build everything from source. Everything gets built from source, including Qt. And then we ship that. And we have to do that because of the ABI incompatibility with our libc++. If it's not a native plugin though, we do have like a runtime shader compiler. So we're using Skia on the back end. Skia is the same graphics engine that's used by Chromium, and it's used by Android, and it's created by Google. It's a fantastic project. And you can write shaders in what they call SKSL, which is really just GLSL, and it will compile it for the target runtime. So we use DirectX 12 as our backend, so it will compile it. So yeah, I mean, presumably we could open up something where like you write SKSL, GLSL basically. We give you the ability to like declare some properties, and then it runs, and then it would show up. So that's something certainly we're interested in doing.
Sorry, I was just replying to someone in chat.
Someone says I like that too because the more integrated plugins are, yeah. Native plugins are really, really hard. I mean, because so this is the reason VST is like an experimental, and I'm always going to be afraid to take it out of experimental. When you have the number one source of crashes in Meld today is basically virtual camera plugins. A virtual camera DLL runs out of memory or runs over a memory boundary and it crashes. This is a number one source of crashes. Anytime you let someone run native code in your process, they can crash you with bad code. And that's something we're really, really worried about rolling out. Probably what we'll do is run plugins in an isolated process. So you'll get an isolated process with a separate API. That solves our API boundary issue. And then your plugin can crash and it doesn't impact Meld. So We already do this to some extent. Whenever we're scanning your computer for VSTs, because we don't trust the plugin until we scan it, we do this out of process already, and we communicate over shared memory. Okay, we're getting a little bit technical, but
No, you're good. You're good.
I saw some technical questions. I got excited.
Yeah. It's good. All right. How about we answer 3 more questions and then we'll wrap it up because I don't want to take 100% of your day.
So I really haven't taken a ton of questions from chat, I would say.
Yeah.
I'll let you drive.
When are you rewriting in Rust?
Never.
What are some particular features that you guys in chat are like, okay, this is something that I absolutely need and I can't switch to Meld if I don't have said feature? Because there were a bunch that you guys were mentioning. Again, I don't want to like I don't want to go too hard into like feature requests and stuff, but I know I had a lot of questions about that. Portable mode for Meld. Is that going to be a thing?
Yeah, we have it. We use it for some builds. Like our newest alpha build where people are testing out right now, the multi-canvas output, that's standalone, meaning it's isolated to one folder. We do auto updates. I don't know if this is something I expected to be super controversial, actually, but no one says anything about it. And it's because nothing breaks. So, but you know, if we ever have a breakage, people will say things about it. Anyways, okay, we do auto updates because it also makes support easier. We know everyone's on the same version. So if we fix something, it fixes something for everyone. So that's why we've been a little bit hesitant to do portable mode because it's hard to do auto updates with portable mode.
Gotcha. I did notice I hadn't used Meld in like months, and I opened it up and I'm like, how do I update this? And then I'm like, oh shit, all the new stuff is just there already.
Yeah. Yeah, pulling out the auto update thing was really hard. We invested a lot in that at the beginning. We have like thousands of unit tests, literally thousands of unit tests that run on every piece of code that's shipped from everything, all up and down the capture stack, all up and down the audio stack, all up and down the audio resampling, graphic stuff, like everything. But you can't cover 100% of things. So then we have to do manual testing and all that. But we saw it as really important that we'd be able to like ship auto updates as fast as possible. And I think it's one of the ways that we've made it as far as we have. This is a really hard thing to build, I'll say. I mean, it's the hardest thing I've ever worked on in my career, and I've worked on a number of things.
Someone asked a question about, I think they're asking about transitions. And I think one of the things that people want is like per scene transitions. And I'm pretty sure a long time ago, you guys had like a menu for, it was like your radial menu thing that looked crazy. Does that still look the same?
We took it away. I mean, you found it confusing. I think a number of people found it confusing. It's still in the experimental menu. We need to take it out. It doesn't do anything at this point. I think we're gonna rethink it a little bit.
How do I access the experimental menu again?
Hold Shift and long press the M. You should show chat. It's got a nice little animation.
Okay, that's how I do it. Sorry, I was only single. Okay, so basically, I just want to show people, if it even shows up anymore. Basically, if you long press the M, am I doing it right? Hold on. Oh yeah, it's like bouncing up and down. Yeah, there's a radial scene switcher. Can you access the radial scene switcher anymore? Or
no, it's taken out of the code. The switch is still there. That's just like a remnant. But if you hold you should turn on VST3 plugin support, and then if you restart, you'll get VST3.
Yeah, I want to show it anyway because yeah, it was in my original video, but basically for everyone that's asking about like per scene transitions, that was a thing. They had like this super crazy, it looked really cool, but like it was like really confusing. But yeah, I don't think you don't have an option for per scene transitions yet, do you?
No, no, we have all the code, we have all the plumbing for it. That's what was being used by that interface. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of people found it a little bit confusing. So we'll try something else there.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
pull it up anyway just to show chat because like I think it even if it's something that I don't think should have shipped out, I think it was like a cool menu to show anyway.
also you liked it. Now we took it away. You like it?
No, I like for
You missed.
it. Okay, I'll explain what this doesn't matter because you took it away anyway, and I think it was good that you took it away. I just want to. I just like the animation. That's what I liked about it. I think as an actual feature that anyone's gonna use, I think it's like far too confusing. When did I talk about it in the video? I'm trying to find it. What video? What the fuck am I looking at? I'm looking at the wrong video. Oh yeah, people are asking about stinger transitions as well. Do you have a comment on stinger transitions?
Yeah, while you're looking for that, I'll mention stingers. Stingers is something that we'll add it at some point. It's something I'm a little bit surprised it's taken us as long to get around to that. We do see a fair amount of questions for it. My belief, though, at the end of the day, is that there's a really inefficient way to accomplish what most people are looking for, right? It'd be much better to do it like if you're looking for like a thing that swipes across and shows text, it should just be a vector image. Because with a stinger, you're decompressing a video frame, probably on the CPU, copying it to the GPU at each tick on that transition. And now you have to do this every time. And if you just have something that's like a preset thing, we'd much rather offer to like give you like a new type of plugin. Man, who's calling? A new type of plugin where you can create like custom stingers and customize like the colors of different things that like swipe across, right?
Yeah, Nerd or Die has something like that. There's
Yeah,
actually
it's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of agree with you. Like every one of those transitions, I use one on my stream. They run number one, they run really well, and just like the resolution of it is like super good quality. Um,
Yeah, because you basically have to use because with a stinger you have to if you have alpha baked into the video, you basically have to use WebM, and there's no hardware decoders for WebM. It's
yeah,
only CPU, and WebM's pretty slow to decode. It's one
yeah.
of the slower ones, I'll say. H.264 is much faster.
I will say though,
So
I think the reason why people still want stinger transitions is like there's so many ones that you can buy out there, and also like when you're trying to commission someone to make, because most people don't make their own stinger transitions. When you commission someone to make a stinger transition, they're all used to like building it in After Effects or something. So it's just
yeah,
easier to pay someone to make. That's why at least that's why I feel people want stinger transitions. But yeah.
yeah, I have it running a little prototype branch, but yeah, it just hasn't made it out yet, which is kind of a bummer. Also, LUTs is something I used to use a lot, and I
Mhm.
also have that on like a little branch, but yeah, we'll get it soon enough.
Okay.
It's overwhelming some days, you know? Everyone, the crazy thing about this base that I didn't expect is like everyone has features that they demand and say that they can't go live without them, and none of them overlap. The overlap is like astonishingly small.
Yeah.
So they're very like at this point in the beginning, they were like features we could roll out. They were like a big win for like 100% of people. These days, it's like 20% want this, 10% want this, 5% want this, 30% want this. They're all different. So it's hard to make everyone happy.
Okay, I want to show you this. I want to show you this thing just because I thought it was cool. So basically, for
Yeah.
all the OBS plugin you guys keep talking about is a transition table. So it's basically a way to define which specific transitions you want to use between each scenes. And that's something that people are missing in Meld. I will just to show you guys, they did have this feature at one point. They have this super cool looking radial menu here. It looks really sick, but as soon as you get over like 5 scenes, it gets insane looking. And I have like 100 scenes in OBS, so like having yeah, this menu would look fucking ridiculous, but it just looks cool. Um so Yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
they like. Hopefully you can add a feature like this in the future. But like, I just wanted to say that the way that you do the little graphs like this is, as the encoder graph that you sent me earlier is the same sort of thing as this.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think Ollie's listening right now. He created this. A lot of these things start off as like developer tools to begin with, and then he'll show it to us, and we're like, "This is awesome. Let's ship it." So yeah,
This
this was
is
cool because you could pick the scene. So basically, the way it worked is like you would click the scene that you're interested in, and that's like now your the scene you're starting from, and then it would show you a path to the other scenes, and you could choose which transition was used to like play out that path.
yeah. It's way too in my as cool as it is. It's just way too much. So that's why it was taken away. But I can appreciate the graph. This is the for those of you that missed it earlier. This is the so this is a video that he sent me earlier of like the encoders. So if you're doing multi-output or like multi-streaming, you stream Twitch, YouTube, and then you're also recording multiple tracks. You could you can use a graph like this, or you'll be able to use a graph like this that will connect like this is your main canvas, this is like your vertical canvas. You'll be able to connect it to which specific encoders you want to use, and then say from the encoder like which outputs I want to send it to. Do I want to set it to Twitch? Do I want to set this to be like what I use for my clip button, that kind of thing? So this is like really cool. It's a bit crazy looking because there's a lot going on here, but it's very intuitive, and judging by the way that radial graph worked before, like it looks really fluid, which I appreciate.
Yeah, so you'll be able to click each like any of them, and it will highlight the path all the way through the system. So if you
Yeah.
clicked on like main canvas, for example, it would highlight the flow of the information. And over time, what we want to do is allow you to hover over it and show like the average time to produce each frame. And it may even change colors, right? Like if something is getting bottlenecked or something's going wrong, like early on we tried not to expose much complexity to the user, but I think the thing we found in these experiments that we've had, like the first experiment we did with this was the capture device output graph view.
Mhm.
And that allowed people to diagnose issues with their cameras that we weren't even aware were going on. Some people were like, oh, my camera was I configured it to do 60, but internally it was doing 30 for some reason, and it shows up in that.
Yeah.
So we learned that these kind of things allow users to get inside the system and diagnose for how it works, and that allowed them to diagnose issues on their, which saves us some reasons on the support. Are you still there?
Yeah, your video just cut out for a little bit, but yeah. Just repeat like the past like 15 seconds.
Oh, I was just saying that we basically learned that when people have better insight into how the system's working, they're able to self-diagnose issues that they're having.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is beneficial to us because it reduces support burden, basically.
Okay. Yeah, what I was gonna mention was that the encoder graph for just again, I'm repeating myself because people like not everyone was here earlier, but what I imagine this will look like in the future is once you flesh out the whole video editor side of Meld, and then you flesh out the so eventually in the future you'll have the ability to record your gameplay and your camera separately, and I imagine you would see that on this graph, right? So on the left-hand
Yeah.
side, like your camera would be its own separate source, your gameplay would be its own separate source, and then you can connect that to whatever encoder you want, and then like there would be like the recording on the right-hand side. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be pretty
It's great
sick.
CEO speak. Great CEO speak.
What was that?
It's a great. That's very good CEO speak, as Chad would say.
You know, you do this sly thing that all you CEO people do, where you do like our belief. When you start your question with my belief, I'm like, oh, this guy's good.
I mean, I think you have to lay out the context. That's normally what it's about. I mean, I think I eventually get to the answer for every question. I mean, but it's good to lay out the context sometimes because things have to be, it's important to put it in context because not
Yeah.
everyone knows the context around it.
Okay, I'm gonna take one more good question from you guys, and then I think I'll wrap it up. Um, yeah, I'll end the call like after the question, but I'm gonna still keep streaming and talk about the stuff if you just want to hang around and chat about it. Um, um, CEO talk. I'm not good at CEO talk. I'm good at spotting it though. You know, one day, maybe one day, CEO Nutty will become a thing. Maybe. Yeah. Our core values.
That's a classic one. Our core values are trust, transparency, and honesty. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. If you guys have no more questions, then the stream ends here. So like, hurry up.
What was something good? We want an absolute KO question.
Yeah. Meld story time.
I don't even know what that means.
No, Meld story. Wait, why does everyone keep? You want the story of Meld? Is that what you guys are asking? Why did you make Meld? That's a softball question. Ask a better question.
Absolute softball question. Actually, to understand how Meld was created, it's important to talk about our core values first.
What about sorting lists of scenes in folders, groups, and Meld, like Scene Tree OBS plugin? Yeah, I think in addition to that is also like nesting scenes. I don't think that's a thing yet, right?
You can do it with the duplicator.
Oh, you can't do nested scenes?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess what they're asking is like, how do you plan to handle if someone has like a million scenes? Will they be able to group together scenes, or like what are your plans around that?
Grouping scenes. Yeah, maybe. I mean, how many scenes do people have?
Well, I have over 100, so.
Jesus, I don't think I've ever had more than 4.
Well, it's the reason why I have 100 is I'll take a screenshot on you'll see the screenshot on my screen, but like I don't actually show all these scenes to you guys, but it's like 90% of them are just nested scenes. So like they're there for a reason, but I don't actually show them to you guys. I don't know if you can see on screen here. So all the ones that say Nutty 1, those are the ones that I actually show you guys, right? Then these ones here that say like sub scenes, they're just like grouped together sources essentially. So I don't know if you see that as like sort of a hack that I shouldn't ever have to do, but it's just the way that I do it in OBS. And having one of the things that I don't have in OBS is just a way to group this sort of stuff. Like I have to resort to installing OBS plugins to kind of group them together in a meaningful way.
Oh, let me tell you another idea actually that we've been thinking about in regards to this. I think it will help with this problem. So, how much have you used Figma or like a game editor?
I've used Figma a little bit, yeah.
A little bit. So Figma has this concept of components, and game editors have this concept of like a prefab, where
Yeah.
you can like create an asset composed of a bunch of other assets, and now expose like a subset of the properties.
Mm-hmm.
And now it like goes into your asset list or your component list, and then you can pick from it. And I think that's kind of what people are often after when they're doing nested scenes is like, I created a camera with an effect and a border around it and a glow and transparency underneath it. That may be 10 things and 8 filters. take that, turn it into a component, and then you can expose a couple of the properties and then even share it with the community, right? Now, if someone downloads that, then you can replace the video source automatically with the dropdown. So we've been thinking about components as like a better way to solve this. The concern will be, will this be confusing to people? So I think it's a lot of things like this are kind of tricky to get right on the UX side, but how does a component idea sound to you?
As you were talking, I was visualizing my setup in that because like you've seen my Game Boy camera thing.
Yeah.
My Game Boy camera thing is essentially like its own component thing with a camera. And yeah, it would be really dope if, let's just say I made the Game Boy camera thing as a component for someone else to download. They add it to their setup and all they need to do is pick their camera. Yeah, no, yeah, I can see where you're going with that idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say also like ideas like something I didn't mention early on, but we also do basically we represent as many things as possible in JSON, and the reason for that is so that no one ever feels like they're locked in. Really important to us is that we haven't
He's cutting out.
documented it.
He's cutting out. Wait, you cut out. You cut out. You cut out. The aliens are abducting him, guys. Okay, he's back. All right, sorry, you cut out a bit.
All right, did it come back?
Yep.
Man, it shows complete green on my end. I don't know what's going on. Let me send a keyframe to viewers. Yeah, the system heard JSON. Yeah, we create everything. So like these components would be just JSON. Like our effect right now, you can export effect stacks and then like copy and paste, drag them into Meld, paste them, whatever. Like those are all JSON too. So that's something we would do for the components. So like you could write a script to create a component. You could export you could write a translator to convert a component to a nested scene in OBS if someone in the community wanted to do that. So that's something else that is quite important to us, is like having these open formats that people can just open and read and customize. So you like the component idea?
Yeah. If you saw my OBS setup, you would see like 20 different places where that would be implemented in. Because like when I say I have 100 sources in OBS, like so many of them are really just components, basically.
I have a question. I love what you're doing. Are you hiring? DJ Tio, I know your name from somewhere. Do you work with
Tio is a machine.
Do you work with a large streamer?
Sushi Dragon. You know Sushi
Dragon?
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, that's where I know you from. Man, you guys do some crazy things, actually. I found that super inspiring early on.
Tio, if you wanna talk to Joel like after the stream, like yeah, Tio is he's
sex.
He's a mammoth. You can
come work with us.
I trust Tio.
Email me. Actually, don't email hi. I mean, hi goes to everyone, but you can email me directly. It's just my first name. First name. You know, I always tell people that. I'm like, you can email me. It's just first name at website. The number of emails I get is surprisingly lonely out here, you know?
Really? Man, I got
I'm like, guys, talk to me, you know? And then it's absolute crickets. So
okay. I think I'll wrap up here. But I will say, I think this is a good conversation. I like I want to hear more about I think my position, like the things that I said in the video, I still mostly believe most of the things that I'm not gonna be a pushy and be like, I retract everything I said. I still think that I had made valid points, but I can see where Meld is going, especially with the video editor stuff. Like that is stuff that I I can see is actually different. I can see where how valuable that would be for content creators, especially people that make gaming content.
Haha,
Um,
6.
so it's very promising, but for my viewers' sake, it's at the moment just promising, which isn't a bad thing. I'm eagerly waiting to see what you guys can come up with. And even like, look, even if I don't like, even if I am not someone that's gonna be using Meld personally, I still think it's super interesting to keep track of, and I will definitely be keeping an eye on what you guys are doing in the future.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, and honestly, like if you, I mean, so something we've always seen as a good opportunity is like work with us. I mean, if you have ideas for something you'd like to see exist, you know, we jump into design calls with users, and anyone that has an idea, we listen to it. I think we took like 100 calls as part of the design process for the new release we're about to roll out. There's a lot of tricky things, you know, the audio experience. We've done a lot of iterations on that, informed mostly by calls with users. Like, I would say we're probably taking more calls with users than any company in this space. Like, we take a lot of calls with users. Well, okay, if you're wrapping, I want to give a couple shout outs. First of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to come on and talk. I had a lot of fun. And yeah, I very much would like to have you collaborate with us. There requires no exchange of goods and services, just ideas, just ideas. It's okay to share ideas, I think. Don't freak out.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'd like to say, I'd like to give a little shout out to my team. Our team's spread around the world. Some of us have never met, and most of us have been working together for like many years at this point. I want to give a shout out to Carol, who's one of the first people to join the team. Everything you see, we did a billboard in Times Square with the layout and design for our booth at PAX East and all these other conventions, all done by Carol. The entire product design. She's the one that's taking the calls with the users. Incredible. All-star. So shout out to Carol. Sergey, who did all the front-end code, all the experience you see, everything in Meld that you like interact with, and you know, the UI done by Sergey. It's like 10 p.m. for him right now, but I think he's watching. Hey, Sergey. Ollie did design the radial scene switcher. He designed the encoder stats view, implemented all the code for this. Incredible. It's like probably 9 for him right now. He's based in the UK. Terry, our CTO, who does everything and way too much support and deals with a lot of angry users, but does it with grace. And yeah, well, I don't want to take too much time to shout out everyone. Tiffany on the marketing side, incredible. We did a huge event this weekend. We flew some creators out to New York. She orchestrated the whole thing, had a lot of fun. And she's been a really great key person in like building up our relationship with the community and everything that we do. And Kayla, who created the term Nutflix.
That was a good one. People love that one. People thought that was my idea. That wasn't my idea. They actually made that graphic. I just put it up on my Twitter.
I thought it was fun. Did y'all like the graphic?
It was good. Yeah, you guys see it again.
And Sage, if y'all haven't interacted with Sage yet, you will. If you come into our Discord, Sage is like the guy. You can schedule a one-on-one call with him if you need any help with anything at Meld anytime. He's a pro. Absolute pro.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate again, because I know a lot of people like expecting an exposed thing. It wasn't meant to be anything like that. I've met some of the Meld employees when I was at TwitchCon last year. Hopefully, fingers crossed, perhaps again this year. Are any of you guys going to be at TwitchCon this year? US?
We may do it.
Yeah.
You know, we did a party last year. I don't know what we'll do this year.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone that I've talked to at Meld has been like super cool. So like, if anyone got the impression that I fucking hate Meld, like that wasn't it. But yeah. But
at the end of the day, I always view these things through the lens of content, right? Because like people have like their content personality.
Yeah.
And then they have you know, they're like real life personality, and sometimes these things are different.
Yeah.
And it's possible to like have fun and make content and riff on things, and that's kind of what, you know, I thought that was a good. I thought it was good fun that we did the UFC Fight Night poster.
Yeah.
I appreciate you playing along with it. It was fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah, I'm gonna hang up now. But don't feel free to just message on Discord. I know I'm an asshole sometimes because you messaged me before and I totally forgot to respond. Just pester me next time, okay? Because I'm very bad at responding to my Discord. But yeah,
I'll be a pest. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the questions. Thanks again, Nutty, for having me on.
Yeah, of course.
You're gonna have to hang up on me.
All right. All right. See ya.
Like, bye. I want it to be super. Yeah. I'm breaking up.
Fuck that guy. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.